The woman who would become the most photographed person in the world was born on a summer afternoon in 1961, not in a palace, but in Park House, a 10-bedroom estate on the Queen's Sandringham property in Norfolk. Diana Frances Spencer entered a world of privilege, yet one marked by fracture. Her parents, Viscount and Viscountess Althorpe, were locked in a disintegrating marriage. By the time Diana was 6 years old, her mother had left, and a bitter custody battle ensued. The court sided with her father. Diana and her siblings remained at Park House, but the absence of her mother would haunt her for the rest of her life. She was not an exceptional student. Her teachers at boarding school noted her kindness, her love of animals, her quietness. She failed her O-levels twice. Yet there was something about her, an emotional intelligence, a warmth that people remembered. After finishing school, Diana moved to London, sharing a flat with friends in Earl's Court. She worked as a nanny and a kindergarten assistant. She was 19 years old, living an unremarkable life, when she was reintroduced to Charles, Prince of Wales, at a house party in the summer of 1980. Charles was 31. He had been under relentless pressure from the palace, the press, and the public to marry. His romantic entanglements, most notably with Camilla Parker Bowles, a married woman, had become a source of scandal. The royal family needed a bride, young, aristocratic, virginal, malleable. Diana fit the profile. She was charming, photogenic, and from an old noble family with ties to the crown. Charles proposed in February 1981, after only 13 meetings. Diana accepted. She was 20 years old. The engagement was announced on February 24, 1981. In the televised interview that followed, a journalist asked if they were in love. Charles replied, "Whatever in love means." Diana laughed nervously. The world celebrated. But behind the scenes, Diana was already beginning to unravel. She discovered that Charles was still in contact with Camilla. The palace staff treated her with cold formality. She lost weight rapidly. She began to suffer from bulimia, a condition she would battle for years. In her own words, she felt like a lamb to the slaughter. The wedding took place on July 29, 1981, at St. Paul's Cathedral. It was watched by 750 million people worldwide. Diana wore a silk taffeta gown with a 25-foot train. She stumbled over Charles's name during the vows. The world saw a fairy tale. Diana saw a cage. The marriage was troubled from the start. Charles returned to Camilla. Diana, isolated in the vast halls of Kensington Palace, struggled with depression and bulimia. She was expected to perform, smile, wave, attend functions, but she received little emotional support. The royal family operated on a code of silence. Weakness was not tolerated. Emotion was not discussed. Diana, who craved affection and honesty, found herself in an institution that offered neither. Yet publicly, she was a sensation. Wherever she went, crowds gathered. Photographers followed her every move. She possessed a natural ease with people, especially the vulnerable. She visited hospitals, homeless shelters, and AIDS wards at a time when many still feared the disease. In 1987, she shook the hand of an AIDS patient without gloves, a simple gesture that shattered stigma and made headlines around the world. The palace had not expected this. Diana was not supposed to overshadow the institution, but she did. By the mid-1980s, the marriage was in open decline. Diana gave birth to Prince William in 1982 and Prince Harry in 1984. She loved her sons fiercely, but motherhood could not repair the marriage. Charles was distant, resentful of Diana's popularity, and increasingly open about his relationship with Camilla. Diana, in turn, began to seek solace elsewhere. She had close friendships with men, some of which became romantic. The press speculated. The palace panicked. In 1992, Andrew Morton's book, Diana, Her True Story, was published. It was based on secret tape recordings Diana had made with Morton's help. In it, she detailed her bulimia, her suicide attempts, Charles's affair with Camilla, and the coldness of the royal family. The book was a bombshell. The palace denied her involvement, but the world believed her. Later that year, the Sunday Times published a transcript of a leaked phone call between Charles and Camilla, in which Charles expressed a desire to be reincarnated as Camilla's tampon. The scandal was devastating. In December 1992, Prime Minister John Major announced in Parliament that Charles and Diana were separating. The separation did not bring peace. It brought war. Diana and Charles fought through the press, through biographers, through carefully timed interviews. Diana was no longer willing to play by the palace's rules. In November 1995, she gave an interview to the BBC's Panorama program. It was watched by 23 million people in the UK alone. She spoke openly about her bulimia, her affairs, Charles's relationship with Camilla, and her belief that Charles did not want to be king. She said, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." The interview was a strategic masterstroke. Diana positioned herself as the victim, the outsider, the truth teller. The public rallied to her side, but the palace was furious. Queen Elizabeth II, who had tried to remain neutral, intervened. She wrote to both Charles and Diana, instructing them to divorce. The divorce was finalized in August 1996. Diana kept the title Princess of Wales, but lost the designation Her Royal Highness. It was a calculated humiliation. Yet Diana was not finished. Freed from the constraints of royal protocol, she became even more focused on her humanitarian work. She campaigned against landmines, traveling to Angola and Bosnia to meet with survivors and advocate for a global ban. She auctioned off 79 of her dresses to raise money for AIDS and cancer charities. She embraced her sons publicly, kissed them, laughed with them, behavior that was unheard of in royal circles. She was redefining what it meant to be royal, but she was also lonely. She had relationships, most notably with Surgeon Hasnat Khan, whom she called the love of her life, and later with Dodi Fayed, son of Egyptian billionaire Mohammed Al-Fayed. The press followed her relentlessly. Every date, every vacation, every private moment was captured and sold. She once said, "The press is ferocious. It pardons nothing. It only hunts for mistakes." On the night of August 30th, 1997, Diana and Dodi Fayed were in Paris. They had spent the day on Fayed's yacht in the Mediterranean and returned to the Ritz Hotel, owned by Dodi's father. Photographers surrounded the hotel. At 12:20 a.m. on August 31st, they left through a rear entrance, attempting to evade the paparazzi. Their driver, Henri Paul, was intoxicated and speeding. The car entered the Pont de l'Alma tunnel at over 90 miles per hour. It crashed into a pillar. Dodi and Henri Paul were killed instantly. Diana was still alive but critically injured. She was taken to Pitié-Salpêtrière Hospital.
Princess of Wales has been seriously injured in a car accident in Paris. Her companion, the Harrods heir Dodi Al-Fayed, has been killed.
French radio is saying that the accident happened in western Paris when the car she was traveling in collided with another vehicle in a tunnel. The princess is reported to have been taken to hospital. There is no news of her condition, and as yet the report is unconfirmed.
Where surgeons fought for 2 hours to save her. She died at 4 a.m. She was 36 years old. The news broke at dawn. Within hours, the world was in shock. Flowers began to pile up outside Kensington Palace. People wept openly in the streets. The royal family, who were at Balmoral Castle in Scotland, remained silent for days. The public turned on them. "Where is the Queen?" newspapers demanded. "Show us you care." On September 5th, the Queen addressed the nation. It was too little, too late for many. But the gesture was significant. The royal family, for the first time in modern history, bowed to public pressure. Diana's funeral was held on September 6, 1997, at Westminster Abbey. It was watched by an estimated 2.5 billion people worldwide. Elton John sang "Candle in the Wind," rewritten in her honor. Her brother, Earl Spencer, delivered a eulogy that was both a tribute and an indictment of the institution that had failed her. He said, "She needed no royal title to continue to generate her particular brand of magic. Diana's death did not end her influence. It amplified it. The monarchy, which had seemed invulnerable, was forced to modernize. Public displays of emotion became acceptable. The palace began to acknowledge mental health struggles. Charles eventually married Camilla, but only after years of rehabilitation of both their images. Diana's sons, William and Harry, have carried forward her legacy in different ways. William has embraced the institution, becoming a steady, dutiful future king. Harry has rejected it, leaving royal life and speaking openly about the trauma it caused, echoing his mother's rebellion. Diana was not a saint. She manipulated the press, had affairs, and made strategic calculations to protect her image. But she was also trapped by a system that demanded perfection, by a marriage that was loveless, by a family that valued duty over humanity. In the end, Diana Spencer was a woman who refused to disappear quietly. She used her pain, her platform, and her charisma to force a centuries-old institution to confront its own cruelty. She did not change the monarchy entirely, but she cracked its facade. And in doing so, she became something the royal family could never be: beloved.